Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. We might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at crossed in the last 3 years are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, because they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing a significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Diablo asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh! Oh, God. Damn it, AD. I think you just need to find a gentle way.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and is seen walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have been required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the, because you can't be pardoned if you're not guilty.
Whether he can whether he can issue President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would
can't?
Be a gross abuse
Oh,
of the presidential
it's a
pardon authority.
gross abuse. A presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, Jamie Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, Jamie Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons is
Yes, it's only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt. Or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
Jamie
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he get a
about
pardon
this.
also? Wasn't he on
Well,
that committee?
The seeking of pardons is...
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. Are you going to condemn that pardon?
You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people, commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One who, in fact, one drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold him.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama-Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators linking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, they're still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Diablo, is there an aisle in the grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who if we were 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
At the end of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Mike. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Hump Day! Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where, it's Hump Day. It's week's half over. You get through this day, and you got smooth sailing into the weekend. So, happy 7th of May, 2025. I was looking for some holiday stuff to put up, but I didn't do that there. So let's dig up the holiday calendar day. And I'm going to continue what we did last week. I liked the concept. Oh, what the hell happened there? That's not what I asked for. Holiday calendar. What is today? That's not what. We're going to do another Insta-Wednesday. We're going to just get through the main news as quickly as possible and watch some videos and react to some videos that I saved from Instagram. Instagram Reels, short videos. And we're just going to talk about what there's in them. Because a couple of them, I'm like, holy shit. What are you doing? What are you thinking? It was just like, what? Anyway, so that's a preview. That's what's it called? Foretelling? Whatever that word is. Whatever that word is. I don't know. It's, what do you do when you give a hint of something? God, why am my brain not working like every day? Anyway, hi. Let's say hi to everybody and get this thing going because I'm a little late and I want to get as much in as possible. First in the chat today is Mr. Avocados Diabli back in the saddle again. Gets the bell. Congratulations. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Kara Soldiers in the house, TC, what up? Resolute Germ. The Pope's here. Pope Tyrannius the Third, the Blessed Lich is here. Whoops. I don't know why anyone laughed about that. Anyway, good morning also Attack Alpaca, Green Badger Outdoors, Hoko Sports, what's up? And whoever else is strolling in slowly but surely. Even though there's only 13 people here, 3 likes is pathetic. Get to work. Hit the damn like button. You're here. You should already hit it. And whether you like me or not, I don't care. Just get some more people to portend. No, not a portend. Foreshadowing. That's what I was trying to say. I was foreshadowing. Oh, yeah, Mike Savage got it. That's what my brain did not work. Foreshadow. I was foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. Thank you, Mike Savage. I appreciate it. All right, let's do that thing that we do. Wow, only 14. Well, as you come in, just say hi, and we'll get it going. We'll get it going. I'm looking good there today. I'm telling you. All right. I still don't like that shadow though. There's a little shadow box there, but whatever. Anyway, let's see. Let's just start talking about stuff. Well, let's talk about the day's holidays because we always have to do the holidays if we can, if I remember. So today, some of today's holidays: National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. That's a good thing to remember. Honor National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day and spread the message of understanding, support, and care for our youths. Shouldn't you say hi before you come in? What is that? What? Okay, I'm not sure. What are we talking about there? I'm not sure you're talking about there. Also, on that note, it's also Childhood Depression Awareness Day. So don't those kind of overlap a little bit? National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day and Childhood Depression Awareness Day. But yeah, you should, pay attention to your kids and see what's going on in their lives, or, if you have nephews or nieces or whatever. Make sure that you take care of those kids. Kids, yeah. AD, I don't respect adult mental health. Well, I'm not. It's not that you have to respect it. You got to be. Kids need help these days because everyone's trying to make them mentally ill. In fact, some people are actively doing it because the munch houses of moms and trying to trans all their kids and shit. So just be aware. All right. Also, it's National Roast Leg of Lamb Day. I'm not worthy. National Skilled Trades Day. Yeah, that's a good one. Teachers, even if you're not kids, well, okay. There's a lot of little things that you can do, little handyman type things that it helps to know. I've learned a whole lot. Like when my brother-in-law taught me how to do electrical work, and I read some books on that, and I can wire a basement myself, or just things like, without burning my house down, by the way. You got to be careful with electricity. I'm not suggesting you do it, but if you do think about doing it, it's not quite as hard as you would think. You just got to know what to do. Or just being able to, fix a table or something, or be able to keep your yard going, build a garden, anything. Well, I don't know the skilled tradespeople like that you learn in that shit, because then you can do your own plumbing and electrical work, and then they don't have stuff to do. But those jobs are pretty much those are going to be well, they are already. They're becoming highly paid jobs because not as many people know how to do them. Supply and demand. So, good morning to our friend Special Can Ass on my honorable mention list of favorite Canadians. How you doing? Does making thermite count as being a handyman? Well, I don't know. If you can make thermite, I'm going to stay away from you. All right. It's also National Avery Day. Apparently, there's people named Avery, and this is your day. National Tourism Day. I'm about to do a little tourism over when we have to go to this wedding in Spain. We committed to this a long time ago, and we're like, I guess we're stuck doing it. So we're going to do what we can to enjoy our tourism when we're in Spain. Bladder Cancer Awareness Day. I didn't know there's a whole lot of bladder cancer out there, but to be aware of that. And then National Cosmopolitan Day. Yeah. Raise a glass to celebrate cosmopolitans. I don't do. Isn't that a chick drink? I don't know. Anyway, there you go. So there's the holidays for the day. All right. Also, of course, it is Hump Day, and I usually try to pick out a few of my 3 favorite Hump Day posts. So we did that today. Hello, Lunatic. What's up? Lunatic's in the house. Iron oxide 3 and aluminum oxide. Oh, to make your own thermite? Yeah, let's not do that. Try if you're gonna make your own thermite, just be careful. I'm just saying. All right, Hump Day. My favorite Hump Day posts. Now you can scroll through this. There's a few body parts if you really want to see some body parts as you scroll through it. I can't show them on YouTube, but my favorite Hump Day posts today include. Well, that's not it. Maybe I have. Oh, I see what I did. I have it here twice. All right, this is not it, but kissing you or cuddling you. Me, both. Oh, you can't even see that, can you? There it is. There's the cute little Hump Day post right there. Aw, that's so sweet. Yeah. Oh, I see. I have a Hump Day and Happy Hump Day. But here's actually a couple of my favorite. Here it is. Good morning, everyone. Happy Hump Day. If you're just listening, it's a picture of Ernie and Bert speaking to each other. One says, "Why isn't China concerned about climate change?" That's Ernie asked that, and Bert answers, "Because they already have a communist government, Ernie." That's friggin' hilarious. HB Lovecraft, what's up? I'm balancing my desire to never deal with another Indian call center scam versus the thermonuclear fallout I would have to deal with. It is a difficult decision. Yeah, but the new scams, there's a new scam coming out of the Philippines. And I'm trying to remember which one it was, because it'll show up in your phone, and if you see when they show you a number to call, or you see 62 is the Philippines, and God, what is the new Filipino scam? Anyway, yeah, the scam calls are just getting out of hand. I thought supposedly you're supposed to be able to be on a new do not call list, but apparently that doesn't include the scams. I don't even answer my phone unless I know who's calling, and if they leave a message, I'll listen to the message first, or if they call and then they text, or they call a second time, sometimes I'll answer. But if it's the same number with a weird prefix, I think PDawg missed the point of it. Maybe I did. No, I didn't miss the point of it, but I've also I understood the point, and I know I kind of glossed over it, But then it got me onto another subject. So sometimes I, go on tangents and shit. So that was my tangent regarding what H.P. Lovecraft included in the chat. All right, I'm not going to finish my thought on scam calls either. Then the other one here, let's see. What's this one? Oh, I just like this because it's a beautiful, look at this beautiful horse. I'm like, damn, that is a gorgeous, maybe if you're not into horses, and I don't mean like in a Cenk Uygur kind of way. I mean, in just, enjoy the beauty and majestic nature of the animal. Look at this beautiful horse. I'm going to take the music off. Look at that horse. That is a gorgeous horse. Holy smokes. I'm dumbfounded. That's just a gorgeous horse. So anyway, so that's and unfortunately, I think that's more of a workhorse type horse, but holy shit. It looks AI. No, it's real. That's a real horse. It's not really. So anyway, all right. They wouldn't exist if they didn't work. Okay, that's cute. You know what I mean? I mean, like a working horse as in, what do you call it? More, as opposed to riding horses, more working horses. No, I don't want to be alone, Tyre. Stop it. I said not in a Cenk Uygur sort of way. Believe me. All right. Oh, I forgot. I had one more. And this is just, I always have to do one for AD. And so here's AD's Hump Day post. Just so it'll be in the links. There you go. So you get 17 seconds of it, or not even that. All right. Let's get into some news headlines real quick. Things happening out in the world before I get into the video portion. India strikes Pakistan and cuts off the water supply. Well, here we go. We had the tensions about a week to 10 days ago over there. And now India launched missile strikes in 3 locations in Pakistan, and citing Pakistan's alleged role in a deadly terror attack in Pahalgam in Indian Kashmir, the region that's been under that, the disputed area of Kashmir. India's military is involved. Pakistan's military, Pakistani Inter Services Public Relations Director General. Okay, that's just who's involved. Key quote to this: Pakistan would respond to Indian attacks at the time and place of our own choosing. These attacks would not go unanswered. So looks like we're going to have another Pakistani Indian war over Kashmir. It's funny too, because I was just watching a video. They do have this border crossing in India into Pakistan where the soldiers do their changing of the guards, and they do all this fancy high step and footwork and shit. It's fascinating to watch, but I wonder how they're doing right now. They try to outdo each other. It's kind of hilarious, but this is not funny. We don't need another war in the world, and here we go. Also, apparently the Trump administration has set an official date for direct trade talks with China. The breakthrough in the tariff standoff between the United States and China emerging on Tuesday evening. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer are poised to meet with Chinese officials in Switzerland over the weekend to discuss trade and economic matters, according to their respective agencies. China reportedly confirmed there will be talks. Things are not going well necessarily for either. I mean, China's having protests in the streets, which they don't like. I'm sure they're going to put some down. And, we're having certainly supply chain issues, and people are getting nervous, small businesses especially, who deal with a lot of stuff in China. So that's good news, I guess. In Breitbart, Cape Cod daycare has been closed after housing an illegal migrant who's wanted for child violation. As you can read on the screen, a daycare in Cape Cod closed this week after housing an illegal migrant wanted for that act in his home country of Brazil. So, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirmed that agents arrested Tiago Lucas in Bourne, Massachusetts last October after learning he had been living at the home daycare of Franciel Nunes. Lucas, allegedly the father of Nunes' 2 children, fled Brazil to escape a 9-year sentence for violating a 13-year-old girl. Forcibly, the definition. So, yeah. If it were Thursday, we'd be saying FTG, but FTG, whoever let this person in the country. Oh, wait, he's an illegal migrant? Well, I guess that means it's Joe Biden. All right. Also happening, Trump announces the Houthis have capitulated as Oman confirms ceasefire. There's going to be a ceasefire between the United States and the Houthi rebels in Yemen. President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire with Yemen Houthi rebels who have agreed to halt attacks on Red Sea shipping after intense U.S. airstrikes. Oman mediated the deal, ensuring mutual non-aggression and safe passage. Basically, we bombed them into submission, and not just us, also the Israelis did too. Israel destroys Yemen's main airport and cuts Houthi weapons supply route. So they're kind of, yeah. So now they're willing to have a ceasefire. Israel destroyed the main airport in Sana'a, Yemen, the country's capital, to prevent the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels from using it to rearm their missiles and resupply their forces in the latest counterattack. So sometimes there's that chart. The chart, you remember that guy that has the chart and he goes, this is about right here. This is the fuck around line. And this is the find out line. And you just hit right here. And I think they decided that, I guess they found out and said, oh, we might want to negotiate a ceasefire and some shit. So there you go. Good morning, JB. What's up? Pope Tyre, let us pray. Oh, sacred wood chipper, hallowed be thy blades. Thy will be done as we turn this pedo fuck into mulch. May you send him his final punishment in the maw. I don't know what the end of that maw is, but yeah. That's the sound of him going through the wood chipper, by the way. Okay. Now, news from the University of Chicago. Which is a school that my son seriously considered going to. He was going to go there to school because he's very smart, and he was going to play basketball there because he was good at basketball, but he chose to go to the University of St. Thomas instead. But anyway, apparently a University of Chicago stats professor cancels midterms and pushes student to join anti-Trump protests instead. The University of Chicago professor canceled a midterm Thursday and called his students to use the time to join an anti-Trump protest. An email obtained by the Washington Free Beacon shows Yali Amit, a statistics professor who has long opposed Israel, told his machine learning and large-scale data analysis class he was canceling the exam as a small contribution to the nationwide demonstrations being held that day to oppose President Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Now, I'll tell you what. The University of Chicago. Here, by the way, here's how much. Do you know how much it costs to go to the University of Chicago? Do you know how much it costs to send your child to the University of Chicago? Now, not everyone pays this much, but even this was what, 9 years ago. 9 years ago, when we were considering our son going to the University of Chicago, a school that does not give scholarships, it was, at the time, it was $74,000 a year. You were very close. Well, you were one half right there, AD. It was like $74,000 a year to go to the University of Chicago. Now, granted, it is a very prestigious school, supposedly the second greatest university in the United States of America. And they don't have scholarships. Now, one thing they do have at the University of Chicago now granted, it costs $74,000 a year. Very, very few. Very, very select few people pay that much to go there. While they do not have scholarships, they do have very generous grant programs. So based on whatever financial aid you would get, you get their financial aid, and there's additional opportunities for other grants. They do not do student loans or scholarships. They have grants. So You could get your own private student loans or whatever, but still $74,000 a year. And this professor decides that it's important to cancel his midterms and send his students to protest the current president of the United States and Elon Musk. And I don't know why anyone's look. There's no real good reason to. I don't know why people are protesting Elon Musk. I really don't get it. So you think it's bad that someone's going through the government and trying to cut wasteful programs. And really, it's almost media driven, because the media, it's like, who's getting kickbacks from all these, this money the government spends? Well, we know the media is getting some of it in some indirect ways. We know that Democrats get a lot of it in indirect ways. In other words, you're basically taking government money and you're giving it to certain organizations, whatever, who somehow that money ends up back in someone's pocket. You're going, what the fuck? Yeah, I garbled that on purpose. Good morning, Now What Studios, my dear friend Woo from high school. Good morning, P-Dawg. Our youngest happens to be at the Statue of Liberty. Nothing on the wall says, please enter our country illegally and feel free to violate, that's my new name for the R word, and pillage. Whoops. Oh, yeah, that old give me your tired and poor poem. Yeah, we didn't write that. And look, give us your tired and poor who come to the country illegally. Legally. That's fine. Anyway, good morning, my friend. Okay, now, this University of Chicago professor canceled midterms to send his students to go protest Trump. Yay! Other headlines, Daily Wire, Trump tariff sparks protest in China. I talked about that a minute ago. I should probably had those closer together. But anyway, protests erupted in China late last month after factories were shut down due to President Donald Trump's 145% tariff on the country. Factory workers took to the streets in Suning, a city in the eastern Sichuan province, demanding back pay and claiming that the electronics factory where they work has not paid them since the beginning of the year. Wait a minute. This is last month, but they haven't been paid since the beginning of the year. Huh. So things were not all hunky-dory even before the tariffs came in, right? Good morning, Dom O'Leary. What's up? So anyway, there's a lot of video and stuff about the protests in China. It's starting to leak out that that's happening. And that may be why we're having the official trades talks that are starting today. So there you go. All right. And also, speaking of trade talks, the Canadian Prime Minister has come to the White House yesterday, I believe. And apparently he's toned down his rhetoric a little bit, at least according to MRC TV, with a big old picture of Sean Hannity's mug up there, even though he's not part of that. What a difference a week makes. On Tuesday, newly elected Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney visited the White House and spoke with President Donald Trump before giving a statement to reporters in the Oval Office. Quote, "Thank you, Mr. President. I am on the edge of my seat," Carney said, beginning a statement. "Thank you for your hospitality and, above all, for your leadership. You're a transformational president focused on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker, securing your borders and ending the scourge of fentanyl and other opioids, and securing the world." Wow! Wow! Was that what he said? Is that really what he said? Well, the article here, that's quite a change of tune from just over a week ago when Carney tried to talk tough in the face of tariffs, saying that his talks with Trump will be with the full knowledge that we, as in Canada, have many other options to build prosperity for all Canadians. Okay, because he's been talking shit, whatever. Now, Trump did still jibe him with that stupid 51st state bullshit, which there's some things I disagree with Trump on, even though if you're a casual observer here, you might think that I am full-on mega hat wearing guy. No, I just support the president because I think he would be much better than what we would have had with the crazy lady, whatever her name is. And I've supported Trump since he became president in 2016. I think he was a much better president than I ever expected. And I'm very happy with the results that he was getting, despite the fact that there are thousands of guns pointed at him, figuratively, at all times. Anyway, now it wasn't all roses at the White House, and as Carney did say that he and the president would try to come to some form of agreement on a couple of contentious issues still in hand. Here's another quote. The history of Canada and the United States is we're stronger when we work together, and there are many opportunities to work together, Carney began his conclusion. And I look forward to addressing some of those issues that we have, but also finding those areas of multiple cooperation. So, yeah, that's a different tone. And Trump really didn't change his tone. Screw Haiti, screw Canada, just seal the border and cut off all contact with it. Well, no, we can't do that. No, we don't need to do that. They're like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. Well, State Farm wasn't really there for the Californians, and that was it. So that doesn't really fit. Anyway, I saw a comedian the other day, by the way, talking about Canada and talking about how Canada may have the world's greatest border fence. And I was like, wow, I didn't really know that Canada actually had a border fence until he explained that Canada's border fence is the United States. Because no one's coming to fuck with us through that there, so you gotta get a natural barrier from any other countries fucking with you. And I was like, oh, that was pretty funny, actually. Okay, so moving on. Let's see. Oh, and then finally, this is good. This is good. And there's a lot of other articles in the aggregator. I'll have that in the links today. I'll have all these articles in the links. You can read the full articles if you'd like. But the last one I highlighted here was this one. Foreign aid official who resisted Doge took secret payments after steering Africa money to a friend. Yeah, that's fantastic. This is part one of a series of investigative reports on the African Development Foundation, which gained notoriety for resisting the microscope of the Department of Government Efficiency. A foreign aid official who refused the Department of Government Efficiency, aka Doge, access to his agency's financial records may have had a reason to keep auditors out because he was steering illicit contracts to a friend who sent him secret payments, according to law enforcement affidavit obtained by the Daily Wire. Matthew Zahui, chief financial officer for the African Development Foundation, refused to grant Doge access to its books and told the White House that the agency would not acknowledge the President Donald Trump's appointee as chairman of the board. After a dramatic showdown in March, Doge physically took over the building with U.S. Marshals, but control of the agency is now the subject of a lawsuit objecting to swooping in with Doge staff, demanding access to sensitive information systems, an objection that reads differently in light of the criminal probe. So anyway, the point here is this guy was steering money to his friend and steering contracts to a personal friend, which probably is not the point of having that agency. There's a whole lot more to it. You can read it yourself, but there you go. There you get the point. All right. And then just some of the quick trending topics. Hallmark is trending, Hallmark Card Company, because apparently they decided they were going to put a tariff-like charge on their products. Problem is, most Hallmark products are made in Kansas. This is here. In fact, this will be one of the videos we'll do today. Here. This will be our first video of the day, even though there's lots more. Listen to this. This is crazy.
Hallmark is raising all of their prices because of tariffs.
Because of tariffs.
Now hear me out.
Yeah.
I just left the Hallmark store, with the ornaments and all that. Right? I love them. I've been going to them for years. Like many of you collect the ornaments and shit. So I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill.
People collect ornaments? Why is there a spider web?
But what I just found out is a little concerning to me. And I have some questions.
I have questions too. Oh, this is 6 minutes long. We're not going to get into this.
So I'm checking out. Right.
So they have this tariff fee that they're putting on some of their stuff. I'll leave the video. I'll put a separate link just to this video. But I forgot. I didn't realize it was 6 minutes long because I didn't watch the whole thing. Point is, Hallmark is handing out new pricing sheets to customers in their stores and telling everyone it's because of tariffs. After being told this, she looked into it online. It says Hallmark manufactures in Kansas, which I'm pretty sure there are no tariffs from Kansas. Yes, the paper may come from Canada. I know that. But anyway, the point is, after pressing Hallmark employees on the phone about this, the employee admits it's about the economic climate So a lie to make Trump look bad. As she is handing it to me, she says because of the tariffs. And I said, okay. So I get into the car and I'm thinking to myself, I was like, a tariff is like a tax on imported goods from outside the country. So I Googled where Hallmark manufactures their shit from, and it said Kansas, which is in the United States. And I was like, okay. So then I call Hallmark. I said, hey, where do you guys make your ornaments and your cards and all your stuff? And she goes, the majority of our things, to my knowledge, are made in Kansas. Everything here is made in the United States. Everything is made here in the United States. I said, okay, so why are you guys raising prices and not in just some items? Like, right? Like if you had like one or two items that are manufactured in other countries and have shipped here, okay, cool. Tariffs are probably going to affect you and raise your prices. Okay, whatever. This is a generic list for everything. Hallmark is handing out everything in their stores. So, okay, I'm just reading this verbatim. I'm sorry. It's not making sense at all. So she said, listen, they told me, this is what she said. They told me to tell you guys it's because of the climate. Let me get this list. Hold on. Let's get the word. She calls it an economic climate. So anyway, there. So now, Ada, you make a good point. Some of the raw materials may come from Canada or something like that. But even if it was that, it's because of climate change. Oh, that's why they're raising their prices, because of climate change. That's what they meant. Thank you, Evan S. That is the perfect answer. So anyway, lots of people talking about this. Hallmark is handing out new pricing sheets in stores, blaming Trump's tariffs for the hike, even though most of their products are manufactured in Kansas. Because $10 for a printed card wasn't already a blatant ripoff. I'm done making my own cards. Now, unfortunately, I just bought 2 Hallmark cards yesterday, and both of them were very expensive. Now, these were the cool pop-up cards. You open it up, this giant, like the one that I bought yesterday. You know, usually the pop-up cards, it's usually just one little piece pops up, and it's really boring. This thing popped up and it was like this intricate set of things that are all interchanged and stuff. I'm like, how the hell did they even make that shit? It was really cool. But anyway, so yeah, Hallmark is giving you a tariff charge, or tariff up, what do you call it? Upsell pricing, whatever, on their goods, even though most of them are made in Kansas. And here's the other thing. Let's say that the tariff, for example, on paper was the reason they were doing it, okay? Because, you know, Canada sells the wood pulp that we make all our paper. How much would that actually affect the price of a card when you're talking about the raw material cost? Might be, you know, let's say it's 10% of the raw material cost, which is maybe 1/30th of the price of a Hallmark card. So let's say it was even 100%. So you're putting in 10 cents worth of raw material paper into a card. So now that would be 20 cents, maybe. But the card's produced and made and whatever everywhere in Kansas. So you're not increasing your costs. It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, I mean, not significantly. I mean, you probably could just eat that 10 cents or maybe 10 cents, but these things are going up quite a bit. I couldn't believe how much these cards cost I bought yesterday. I was like, damn. But, you know, they were from my mother, and she's worth it, whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to buy them anyway. But, yeah, I might consider making cards in the future. All right, I ranted about that too long. What the hell did I do here? Oh, here. Did that work? Okay, so that the whole 6-minute video will be in the links today. Abu Dhabi's trending. Apparently, Disney, the Disney company, has decided that they're going to build a new Disney theme park in Abu Dhabi. Now, I frankly don't give a shit. Okay? I don't plan on going to Abu Dhabi, although it's possible. I mean, if someday I might end up at Abu Dhabi somehow. But there are some people who are very upset about this. Very upset. For example, well, here His Highness... Oh, wait, is this? His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Chairman of the Abu Dhabi Executive Council, has witnessed the announcement of the Disney theme park resort on Yas Island waterfront. So they're going to make a Disney park in Abu Dhabi, right? And it's funny because the one announcement here, a whole new world awaits. Catch that? A whole new world awaits. Disney and Miral have announced the agreement to create a 7th Disney theme park resort in Abu Dhabi. You catch that? Do you know it? Do you get the little play on words there? A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming. You know that song, Old New World? That's from Aladdin. Disney made it an Aladdin movie. So there you go. A whole new world. Got it? Okay, you got it. Anyway, some people are not happy about this, though. For example, someone's here yells, "Wait! Isn't it illegal to be gay in Abu Dhabi? Did Disney forget that a lot of their cast members are part of the community?" Rawr! Disney World guest, we want a new theme park. Disney in Abu Dhabi, right? You got it. Yeah. Who's going to go to Disney in Abu Dhabi? And yeah, they'll probably brought to you by slave labor. Oh, shit. Oh, snap. Isn't half the shit they do at Disney illegal in Abu Dhabi anyway? They're not going to. Marty's going to be the next Disney princess. No, I'm not. I just happen to know the song because the choir I'm in is doing a choral version of A Whole New World. All right. Anyway, so there you go. That's why Abu Dhabi is trending. Persian Gulf is trending again, related to both Abu Dhabi, but also, oh no, here's why the Persian Gulf is trending. And this is one of those dumb things I think that the president does. Apparently, the president of the United States wants to rename the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Gulf. And oh boy, are people pissed off. I mean, calling the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America pissed off people. This one pissed off people that don't even care about the Gulf of Mexico. Some mistakes cannot be undone and carry consequences. The Persian Gulf is not just a body of water. It is a deep-rooted symbol of Iranian identity. Oh, identity. And national pride. Disrespecting is not a trivial act. If you choose to ignore its name and significance, you will galvanize an entire nation in unified opposition. Iran may be divided in many ways, but on this they stand as one. Do not make the mistake, Mr. President. I don't think he has first of all, I don't think he can just rename the Persian Gulf. Did someone, okay, it's not related to that. Yeah. And by the way, the rank and file Iranians hate their government, and a lot of them are pro-American. And so I don't know why he's even suggesting that, but there are a lot of Iranians who are pro-United States who are very angry about this. So we'll watch that. And I personally think it's nonsense, but we'll watch it develop. Letitia James is trending. Apparently, okay, this is weird. This is going to be one of the videos. I guess I'll just play it now. There's this video here, and there's some people celebrating a new statue in New York City. Apparently, they have this statue, a temporarily statue in Times Square of a large black woman, right? And I mean, and what I mean by it is the statue's very large, and so is the black woman in the statue. And a lot of people are saying that it looks like Letitia James.
Those inner worlds that
this is a 10-foot tall statue.
We misinterpret with one another,
which I don't know the purpose of the statue.
And basically encourage empathy.
So they're celebrating and putting it out there. To lean on this. Okay, so anyway, except for the braids, it's not, it kind of looks like Letitia James. So that's why, that's one reason Letitia James is trending. And then a lot of people are also talking about the fact that she is being investigated for mortgage fraud. So, but that statue just happened to bring out all the people talking about Letitia James. Oh, but also she has this, there's a video of her being defiant Where's the video of her being defiant? Oh, here it is. Here. Oh, no. Oh, wait. First of all, this is Aaron Rupar, who hates Donald Trump, posted this video about Donald Trump. Someone asked him about Letitia James.
I can say unrelated to that, she's a disaster for New York. She's a horrible, horrible human being. And I think she's a total crook. There's no question about it. But that's just my opinion. Pam's going to have to do what she wants. She's a very bad person. She's a very, very bad person who campaigned solely on, I'm going to get Donald Trump over and over again. She's a sick person. But that's has nothing to do with what Pam does. Pam is going to do what's right. She always does. I've known her a long time.
And this is regard into investigating Letitia James for mortgage fraud, right? So, and then Letitia James has been very outspoken about this situation too. And here's her apparently at some church or something. I don't know where this is. Kind of responding to the fact that, she might be investigated herself for some of her BS. So here's Tish James lashing out and telling her people that she's not going to stop fighting. So hang on a second here. Let me put this. Okay, here we go. All right, here's Tish James kind of responding to the allegations.
And you want me to sit in my seat and stand idly by and allow this craziness to happen? You could come.
Craziness? You mean that you got caught maybe doing something wrong? Now, well, never mind.
Come after me if you want, but you would.
Oh, well, you may come after me if you want. Well, maybe they want. I'm just saying.
You elected me to stand up.
I didn't
You
let you.
elected me to use the law.
I didn't let you.
You elected me to go to court.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Wait a minute. Did she say you elected me to use the law? That's an interesting way to put it. You elected me to use the law. For what? No. You got elected to enforce laws, not to use the law. That sounds, when you say you elected me to use the law, it sounds like you mean use it however I want. Although some people did elect her to use the law to get Donald Trump.
You elected me to continue to challenge this administration.
No. Because there's a whole bunch of people getting murdered and shot and beat up and assaulted and, jumping subways and stealing and breaking shit. That's really what you're supposed to be doing. You just decided to focus on one other person that's not even in New York anymore. And I'm just saying.
You elected me to stand up for the least of God's children. You elected me to continue fighting on. And I will fight on.
Okay, so that's her response to her own problems caused by herself. All right, let's... by the way, there's one other article here that I thought was significant that wasn't in the aggregator. This is from Just the News. Apparently, the FBI misled the public in claiming the 2017 GOP baseball shooting was not domestic terror, according to the House Intelligence Committee. Just the lead headline here. The FBI misled the public for years, claiming a sniper's attempt to kill Republican congressman at a June 2017 baseball practice was suicide by cop, when it was in fact domestic terrorism, according to a new congressional report released on Tuesday. The 27-page House Intelligence Committee report concludes that the FBI's bottom line, the FBI does not believe there is a nexus to terrorism, was based upon falsehoods, half-truths, and manipulations of the known facts. Well, you know what? They were lying, because we know that shooter, that dickhead, asked specifically, where are the Republican congressmen on this field? So clearly there was a political connection, and violence that's related to political, connections is by definition terrorism. So suicide by cop? No, if it was suicide by cop, He'd have just shot the first person he saw. Or shot at the first people he saw, which might have been Democrats. But he specifically wanted to point out which ones of these people were Republicans. So the FBI, any one of the FBI who said that, well, this had nothing to do with domestic terrorism, is full of shit. That's all I got to say about that. All right, enough. I'm sorry. Oh, all right. Now, we'll do some videos here. First video today. Apparently, Frontier Airlines, this is a Frontier Airlines employee. Somebody, they denied a man the ability to check in. And, you know, this is just straight up fuckery if you ask me, but here we go. Here is this is, I would not say that this is the epitome of customer service. Here's the video that a lot of people are talking about that has Frontier Airlines trending.
I'm here 30 minutes before the flight.
Can you please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm decided that
your personal space. Hold up. I just stop right there. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Did she just say, would you please leave my personal space? And I don't even know what the rest is going to be, but hold up. I don't see a dresser, a closet, a bed, a pillow, a kitchen that in your little space right there. In fact, this says Frontier Airlines airline counter. That is not your personal space. That is the company you work for, and this is a customer at your company who paid for a flight. So he's the headline. If you can't read the heading here, he showed up 30 minutes before his flight, and these Frontier employees refused to check him in because he didn't agree with a $25 agent assist fee to check in, even though he said he would pay it. Because Frontier, they want you to use their little kiosk to get your check-in and whatnot, and you do you get your boarding pass, whatever. I always get my boarding passes on my phone instead when I fly now, because most airlines offer them. Even Frontier does. But apparently they want to charge you $25 if you actually use the agents at the customer service desk. I guess that's the only thing I can think of. So anyway, let's go back to the beginning of this since we're not too far into it.
I'm here 30 minutes before the flight.
Can you please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
My personal space. That alone dumbfounds me.
I'm decided that you ain't going to let me check in.
Make me check you in.
You literally work for a company that I bought a plane ticket for. Check in.
And you're not getting on your flight. It's the Mayday flight. You did. And you think you're going to check me in. I bet you we won't. Okay?
I paid for a ticket.
I am going to guess. I would hope this employee gets fired for this. Her attitude's terrible. Tyre, don't fly Frontier or Spirit. They are the public bus of the sky. Well, the only reason I like to fly Frontier is because they have really cheap flights between here and Denver, where my son lives. Otherwise, we usually try to fly Delta when we're going to fly. Anyway.
Yeah, I paid for a
ticket. Agent assist fee, and you check in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just said that I would pay the $25.
And you thought you were going to get on your flight. And you thought you were going to get on your flight. And you thought you were going to get on your flight. And you thought you were going to get on your flight.
She needs to be fired.
I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight, and they're not letting me check.
We don't control that. And you will never fly.
You were about to let me check in. You were about to let me check in, and you did not in your personal space. This is not your personal space. This is not your personal space. You work for a company. This is not your personal space.
Yeah, that's a personal space.
You don't have to worry about it. You're literally not doing your job for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get home.
I told you to stop putting the camera on me, sir.
I'm literally here at Frontier. I bought a ticket, and they are not letting me check in. For no reason whatsoever.
Well, you said you're never flying the airline again, so we might as well help you out and have you not fly the airline.
And this dickhead too. What in the hell is going on? What the All of them are having the same fucking attitude. I wonder what he did. Did he do something before this? Is my curiosity now. I'm curious what happened before this. Did he get mad about the $25 agent fee? Which is, that's kind of frontier these days. Anyway, so there's our first video of the day. We're off to a roaring start. All right, now I've got a bunch of here to save from the gram. First one in Minnesota. Hang on a second. Let me open another link here real quick. In Minnesota, the other day, around 500 Minnesota state employees protested on Saturday, March 29th, so a little over a week ago. And they're pushing back against Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's return to office policy. He's asking them to return to their they're asking them to return to work. Here's what it says. The governor says having more employees spend at least half of their work days each month in the office will improve communication and collaboration. The Minnesota Association of Professional Employees, MAPE, one of those freaking public employee unions. I can't stand, I don't mind unions, I guess. I'm, as a member of a union, I fully disclose. Although my union doesn't do, my union gets me health care. I do appreciate that. But anyway, public employee unions, who are you negotiating against? You're negotiating against the taxpayer for the most part. But anyway, and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME, Council 5, together represent about 40,000 employees. MAPE organized the protest outside the governor's official residence on 7th Avenue. So they go outside where he lives. And here's what they're protesting.
So the governor on Tuesday issued an order to his agency commissioners to change the telework policy to require everybody to be back in the office 50% of the time by June 1st. And we've been working from home. We have flexible schedules. We've been doing our work more productively.
Oh, hold up. So they want him to, work from in the office more than at least half of the time in the office. Not even the whole time. Just half the time from the office, in the office, right? And she says, we have been doing our work more productively because we can work at home. More productively for who? And who says you're doing your work more productively? Now, granted, sure, there's certain things you can do easier from home. But I don't get it. I don't get how you can tell. How do you know that you're doing your work more productively? Is everybody doing their work more productively? Or are you just happier because you can get more shit done at home while you're working? That's an interesting way to put it. Anyway.
Since the pandemic, so for the last 5 years. And as far as we can tell, he didn't include anybody in that decision making. Not legislators, not agency commissioners, not the unions, nobody.
He just kind of pulled.
Why does he have to negotiate with the unions? The unions didn't do the work at home policy. I bet you did he consult with the unions when they told him to work at home? I'm not sure.
This out of the blue, we were promised that we were going to be working from home
forever. Oh, is that what it was? Really? Well, they better start selling some of them state office buildings then.
Some of us have health issues.
Oh no! Now, before the pandemic, did you have health issues? That when you had to work in the office? What are you talking about? Hi, Miss Wild Wolf. How you doing?
We have to deal with in addition to taking care of our kids.
This is to make a lot of people's lives a lot more.
Oh my God. Yes. What did you do with your kids before you started working for the government?
More complicated and stressful than it really needs to be. Speaking like for the rest of our coworkers,
going to work is more complicated.
All of families, there's just a huge shortage of childcare in Minnesota, and beyond that, it's very expensive. As a union, we just want to be treated with respect, and we just want to have a seat at the table for big decisions being made that are going to affect our day-to-day lives.
It is a lose-lose situation for everybody. It is not going to benefit the downtown St. Paul. It is not going to benefit collaboration. All it's going to do is waste money, make us less productive.
Waste money. How's it going to waste money? Who's what? And how's it going to make you less productive? Again, they're bringing up the productive thing. Again, who determines how productive you are? Are you really working, more productive because you're working at home? More productive for who? I'm just saying.
It's going to be chaos. We literally, our buildings right now,
chaos
literally cannot handle bringing everybody back.
It's how's it going to be chaos? You worked in the office before this started. Was it chaos that now I'm curious? And look, there may be a legitimate reason why it would be chaos for them actually working in their offices. But the arguments don't really sit with me, and also everyone else on the planet who does have to work where they actually work. Thank you, Ty Alexander. First sponsor of the day. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping a $2.30 in the tip jar. That is TSA Tire. Says, if you show up 30 minutes before your flight, you've missed your flight. No, I agree with that. We always go 2 hours, but you can, in many cases, like for example, if a flight's on time at Minneapolis Airport, especially in the Humphrey terminal, but even in the main terminal, you can show up 30 minutes before your flight, get checked in, especially, well, if you don't have to check in, that's the other part. Generally, we don't have to check in, but you can get your flight 30 minutes before the flight and still board because you really need time to, but you need, depending on which gate you're at. If you have a gate that's too far away, you probably missed your flight. Anyway, TS Tire says, if you show up 30 minutes before your flight, you've missed your flight. There are 15 minutes in line for TSA, depending on where your plane is. 10 minutes, 30 minutes before your flight is good as 30 minutes after your flight. 2 hours early, people. Yeah, you definitely, I highly recommend showing up 2 hours early before you're supposed to board your plane. I'm definitely in the Humphrey terminal at Minneapolis, for example. The TSA up there is very quick, and you're lucky if you can do it. If you go on the main terminal, you might have a harder time because you might have a 15-20 minute walk between getting to the airport, getting through TSA, and getting to your gate, and they're already boarding 30 minutes before your flight for the most part. So yeah, 2 hours is good rule of thumb. 3 hours if you're in Denver. Okay, now, so anyway, I don't know. These people are crazy.
It's going to harm, the ability for us to get before work and after work childcare. It's going to increase the childcare wait lines. It's going to cost taxpayers millions upon millions of dollars. The impacts.
How would it cost taxpayers more? How's it going to cost taxpayers more to have you go to work? I'm not sure.
State services, the productivity, the lack of efficiency, it's going to result in worse government all around. So,
what's the opposite of oxymoron? Because good government would be an oxymoron. What would worse government? What would that be called? Would that be called aligning principles or something like that? So anyway, so there you go. There's why the Minnesota government unions were redundant. Yes, thank you, redundant. That's a good word. All right, next video. This is what is this? I don't even know. Oh, this is. Oh, by the way, this is a man. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, no. Don't play that. Don't play that yet. I just want to give you a reminder who the former president of the United States is, or was, or wasn't, for that matter. Ladies and gentlemen, the former president of the United States of America, Joseph Rahim Biden. Oh, mute.
Got the vaccination? Yeah. Are you okay? I mean, you seem, no, it works. Or or the mom and dad, or the neighbor, or when you go to church, or when you're. No, I really mean it. There are trusted interlocutors. Think of the people. If your kid wanted to find out whether or not
I'm going to play this twice just so you can get the full effect.
Or whatever, something, or whether those aliens are here or not. You got the vaccination? Yeah. Are you okay? I mean, you seem, no, it works. Or or the mom and dad.
By the way, this is not edited. And remember, this is before the famous debate that took Biden out. And these are the people who are still saying that he was sharp as a tack. In fact, Don Lemon was one of them. Don Lemon didn't notice that this guy wasn't there. At this point, I think this is almost like 8 or 9 months before the election. Nobody saw this. Nobody noticed. This was a town hall on This Is CNN.
The neighbor, or when you go to church, or when you're... I really mean it. There are trusted interlocutors. Think of the people. If your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon, or whatever, something, or whether those aliens are here or not, you got the vaccine.
Okay, so there you go. Congratulations. You get a glimpse of Joseph Rahim Biden. Okay, next. What's the next one I saved here? What do we got? Oh, here's one. This is interesting because I'm going to see, all I want you to do is we're going to watch this video, and then you tell me in the chat what the most obvious thing see about this particular video. Because there's based on what he says, what's the most obvious thing that you would think as soon as you saw this video of this young man very upset?
Official White House social media pages posted this fucking AI slop this morning, and it just fucking boggles my mind, right? Because I'm sure it was an attempt to own the libs and trigger the libs, but it doesn't even fucking do that because it's just so goddamn stupid. Like, bearing aside the complete lack of media literacy that it must take to claim that somehow, in this equation, the liberals are the empire. But not only that, anybody who's ever watched fucking 10 seconds of a Star Wars movie knows that the people that use the red lightsabers are bad. And what's that picture got Donnie holding? A big red lightsaber. Really, what I got from that wall of dumbass text was the author saying, I'm a fucking idiot and I'm in love with Donald Trump. Because why in the fuck is he edited to be giant?
It's so obvious. Hello, Selecta Boy. Yeah, it's so obvious. He said, it's one of his second line. Well, this is supposed to meant to trigger the libs or get the niggas mad. Blah, blah. And is this guy just off his rocker triggered? Like, he's just foaming at the mouth, mad about the picture, and oh my God, this is that, the red lightsaber, this and blah 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 blah. You just I think it worked. If it was meant to trigger the libs, it clearly worked. It clearly worked. All right, next. What's next? Here, hang on. Let me open another tab here. I'll have all these videos in the tab if you really want to see them. The next one. Oh, this guy's making a point about the Tesla protests. Because I agree with this a lot.
Never let Republicans tell you it's un-American and illegal to protest Tesla when they're the same party that told Bud Light, Disney, and Target, go woke and go broke.
First of all, I'm not sure anyone said it was illegal to protest Tesla. I think people said it was illegal to bomb and set people's cars on fire, but I digress.
I'm going to step out and speak for conservatives here real quick.
We
don't care. Protest Tesla all you want. We do not care. All we care about is the destruction of property that's happening. That's a huge difference. Okay? Stand out there with your signs. Go for it. Do whatever you want. But once you start firebombing and shooting personal property, that's when it's no longer a protest.
I can't argue with that at all. That's exactly how I feel. Exactly. No, it is not Joey from Friends. I don't know who that is. I have no idea. don't know what it is. All right, next, what do we got here? I can't. Oh, here's a good question. Are college kids too sensitive? This is a great question. And again, this is just one that. Nope. Well, so let's try that again. Here we go.
65% of college students believe that professors should be required to make statements in support of DEI, that's diversity, equity, inclusion, as a condition of employment. 46 agree that the opinions they find offensive from fellow students should be reported to administrators, regardless if it's true or not. 46% agreed that if one student claims that another student made an insensitive remark, the student who is alleged to have made the remark should have to attend sensitivity training or undergo some type of re-education, regardless of whether the allegation has been proven or not. Just wait. 45% of students surveyed agreed that if someone is using hate speech or making racially charged comments, physical violence can be justified to prevent the person from espousing their hateful views. 44%.
And that's the one that we're starting to see a lot more, where even the hint of being offensive, now they think that it's okay to use actual physical violence against that. What if it's something completely you can say something completely innocuous and someone will take it as offensive or racist or sexist or whatever. Does that mean they can attack you physically now? They're 45% of college students believe that that's okay. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Cannot bring themselves to being close friends with someone who affiliates with a different political party. That's our next generation, folks.
Yay! Lucky us. Lucky us. Well, lucky them, because I'll be dead eventually. So I'm gonna take the I'm gonna take the Gen X part of me, because I'm one of those in-betweeners. I'll take the Gen X part of me and just say, fuck off, you little pissant. Anyway, hello, my favorite Canadian Jaeger pony, and also Episcopos Hell Chat. There's Elsung. I'm sorry, I'm struggling here. All right, what do we got next? Let's see. Oh, the reason I named this Borders and Disorder is for this next video, because this got a couple border videos that make sense. That these would be good ones to send to the people or show to people who think that oh, we're so mean to these people on the border. We're just awful people, and no. And so here we go. Here, this one, Borders and Disorder.
Tell me what happens when you cross a border illegally.
Other
Sexual
places.
addiction. Germany, up to a year in prison.
Prison!
Canada, a fine and up to 2 years behind bars.
Fine and prison.
Japan, 3 years, a fine and deportation. Russia, 2 years in prison or forced labor.
These are all prison
Ukraine,
sentences in
3
other
years
places.
in prison. Hungary, 8 years in prison, deportation, re-entry ban. Italy, 15 years if circumstances are serious enough.
15 years? Oh, shoot, I actually
Tell me
shut
what
it off.
happens when you cross a border illegally. Factual addition.
Let's do this.
Germany, up to a year in prison.
This is
Canada,
prison
a
sentences you
fine
can
and
get.
up to 2
Now,
years behind
I don't know
bars.
if, now, to be fair, some of these countries she's naming have not been enforcing it in the same way either. For example, in Canada, I don't know that they're enforcing it, because it's supposed to be up to a year in prison and deportation. Are they jailing anyone for illegal immigration into Canada lately? Same with Germany. I mean, I thought they had a major, all across Europe, there's a major migrant problem. Are all these people entering the country legally? I don't know.
Japan, 3 years, a fine and deportation. Russia, 2 years in prison or forced labor. Ukraine, 3 years in prison. Hungary, 8 years in prison, deportation, re-entry ban. Italy, 15 years if circumstances are serious enough. Some countries impose civil penalties, but that are very few. Others lock you up first. Some will simply send you back, while others will make sure you serve time. The severity really depends on whether it's a first offense or repeated one, was there violence, smuggling involved, a criminal record. And then there is the US. where deportation is the
I'm gonna give you a phone and give you a court date 7 years in advance.
standard. No years behind bars, no forced labor, no decade-long sentences, just deportation. So tell me, is that really so extreme? Or is it just what every other country does, enforcing its own laws, just like it has every right to do so?
Absolutely. So now I have another one that is immigration related because just because I like the video. So let's do one more here. We got a couple more videos we'll do, and then we got to get out of here. But this one is also this one's border related or immigration related at least. Why is this doing this? Wait, why is it that far into the video? Let me see something here. There we go. Oh, I can't. There's music in it. Countries that can deport you for any other country illegal: UK, Canada, Australia, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Russia, China, South Korea, Japan, Saudi Arabia, India, South Africa, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, and many, many more. For some reason, there are a bunch of Americans who don't think we should be deporting people. And I'm like, who? Why? What? Are they the only country who does this? Oh, they saw that poem on the Statue of Liberty. Oh, you dumb fucks. All right, we'll do a couple more and then I gotta go. All right, what's the next one here? Oh, now I'm gonna skip over to. Well, no. Let's. Here's a couple lefties that I wanted to respond to because there's this is. I understand this young woman's rage. But I do have a question for her. Once you hear this, listen to this.
You just think everyone should have food and shelter? Yes, I fucking do. And I am tired of people trying to convince me that that's ridiculous. Okay? I am tired of existing in a world where there are dumpsters full of edible food because someone didn't exchange the imaginary shiny rocks for it. Okay? Every single one of our problems can be traced back to capitalism in some...
Well, here, I'm going to let her finish the rant.
Asshole who wanted to make more money by doing less, and oh my God, we have enough. We're just not giving it to people.
Now, this is one of those capitalism brands where she's saying people should just give people their other stuff. And certainly there are people in our society who certainly could do that. But I think what her real point is we should force people to do that. And I'm just curious, let's just say, because capitalism is part of the reason that poverty in the world has been reduced down to about 7%. I mean, it's for the most part, we're a capitalist world and trade and free trade, whatever, free exchange of goods and for money or substituting your labor and it's basically a trade thing. You trade your labor so that you can purchase things that you need, right? And versus, I'm trying to think of an era in human history where people did not have to do anything to get food and shelter for free. Okay, didn't have to do anything. Didn't have to put any effort. People just gave it to you. And I think that's what she's asking for. She's, doesn't want to have to work to get anything. And I'm thinking, how is it, you would have survived in a world where you couldn't get everything you needed through labor and exchanging your labor for something, because let's say that we didn't have any capitalism, didn't have any kind of trade. I mean, certainly you could barter, but what would you barter? She's saying for the little shiny rocks, you're trading. You have to work to get the little shiny rocks. And you trade for little shiny rocks. Okay, well, if you didn't have the shiny rock system, well, you would have to, if you wanted something that you didn't have, you'd have to negotiate some method of getting it from someone who maybe did have it, either through bartering, you know, or through exchanges, or just going out and hunting and fishing your own shit so you could eat. There's never been a time barter is a trade in capitalism. Yeah, barter and trade is trade in capitalism. I know, right? There's never been a time in history. If you live in a little commune of people, for example, and everyone had to do work so that everyone could eat. Some went hunting, some gathered berries, some took care of the kids, some, went down to the river and get the water. But everyone had to do something to get what they want. We just have a little bit more advanced system of doing that by creating, methods of exchange that are a little more complicated. But once you get to them, it's not that hard. But everyone has to do something to get something. It's not nobody gets anything for free, even if everything is free. You still have to figure out how you're going to exchange one thing for another thing that you need. So this is just as if socialism has ever worked, when capitalism or the systems of trade we have in the world have brought everybody out of poverty for the most part. So it's kind of dumb. It's kind of a dumb, why you should just give us the food because it's there. I should not have to do anything for it. Yeah, some societies decide that amongst themselves, but then you get a lot of people in society who just take and never contribute. So I'm having a hard time feeling bad for this young lady. She's having a meltdown over this because people were telling her, you should actually do something for the shit that you get. Oh my God, you should actually do something for the things that you get. And then we have another one of these, and I'm going to finish with this one. This is another. I always talk about Scrooge McDuck theory, where some people think that when someone says that they're worth X amount of dollars, they just have a big pile of gold coins in a gigantic vault that they go swimming in, and they're just hoarding it. They don't do anything with it, versus the value of a company. Well, here's another one of these idiots. And this is funny too to me. I find this one a little funny, and especially the freeze frame in the thumbnail when we start. But here it is. I don't know why this face is just funny to me. So here it is. And I can explain it after he talks about it. Oh, I suppose I should not have the mute on. Let's try that again. Sorry about that. Here we go.
There were 230 million people in America splitting $1.6 trillion in our economy.
Okay, he's talking about in 1970. He's saying there's 230 million people splitting $1.6 trillion in the economy. And it's funny he says the word splitting, like were they sharing it evenly in 1970? Well, no, that's not it. But anyway, let's let him finish.
Today, more than 40 years later, there's 341 million people and $21.6 trillion in our M2 money supply. So tell me why there's 20 times more money and only 50% more people.
I'll tell you why. Because we keep printing money, asshole. And guess what? You have another stupid question. Let's listen to it.
50% more people and 2,000% more money. Technically speaking, there's 10 times more money per person in America than there was just 40 years ago. So why does everyone feel 10 times broker?
Why does everybody feel 10 times broker? So I went and looked this up. The poverty rate in 1970, the time he's talking about, the prior numbers, the poverty rate was about 12.8% in the United States in 1970. The poverty rate now is about 11.3%. So the poverty rate, despite the way the money supply grew, and that also explains why everything's more expensive, but the money supply grew, the poverty went down since 1970. Now, and probably my guess is that no matter what kind of money supply you have, no matter what kind of social program, no matter what kind of social safety net you have, no matter what kind of political system you have, well, maybe not political system, but whatever, the poverty rate is probably never going to go much lower than, 10%, 9%, because there are just people who just don't. And when I say don't, they just don't. They don't do this. They don't do that. They don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. There's always going to be around a 10% poverty rate. Some people, for no fault of their own, but a lot of people just either have no chance or never feel a chance or just whatever. But when he's talking about this money supply, and, they should just take, his point is going to be here that, well, they should just take it from everybody. Listen to this.
1971, we released ourselves from the gold standard. In 1976, we went into a crash. In 1981, we started Reaganomics. 1989, we cemented in Reaganomics. And Reaganomics cemented in one thing. The top get the money, and they trickle it down to everybody else. But guess...
Now, there's that Scrooge McDuck theory where he says, oh, the top get the money. They have all the money. No. Now, they may use a lot of the money, and they may have the wealth, for example, as Elon Musk built his companies, it's not like now he has $500 billion in his bank account. No, he has the value of, the value of all the companies he owns or whatever, runs, have this imaginary number attached to them. And that's based on the money supply, whatever. And so these companies, if he sold everything off, it'd be worth, $500 billion. Doesn't have that in the vault that he can go swimming in and just give it to you, asshole. He's invested and built companies and whatever. Some people build wealth out of very little. Some people start, we talked about that kid the other day who has sold $30 million worth of an app that he created while he was in high school. Now, did he take money from you? Or did somebody freely exchange money with him to buy his app? He didn't steal the money from you. Somewhere along the line, if you took Jeff Bezos, he built some company that made it easier to buy shit online, right? And they deliver it to your door. Did he take that money from you? Or did people freely exchange their money for the service he provides, and he got rich from it? He didn't take it from you. It's not like, oh, well, the government decided that we're going to build all this money, and then we're just going to give it to him, and it's only going to go to the top. Well, the reason it went to the top is because you bought shit online from Jeff Bezos. And he keeps making his company bigger and better. And what do you want? And he pays Social Security tax for every employee he has. So I don't know. This is like the epitome of the politics of envy. I don't have as much money as any millionaires in the country, but you know what? Guess what? I exchanged my labor to get money, which I exchanged with other people to get food and the things that I have. And, can live a really comfortable life in capitalism, or if it was just the government decided who got what, everyone would be poor. Everyone would be equally poor. But because we are able to determine our effort and what we do in life, now certainly people make shitty life choices, but it has nothing to do with whether or not some guy builds a company and makes $400 million or has a $400 million net worth, which is just the value of his company, is not the amount of money he's swimming in his backyard pool. So, yeah, who has the money? It's not money. It's value.
Guess what? Through the 90s, through the early 2000s, through the 2010s, guess what happened? The money went up top, and it started to... Ooh, wait, why would we trickle this down?
No, the money didn't go up top. I mean, in some ways it did, certainly, loans, whatever. But, back in the 70s, dude, my parents built a house for $24,000. That's valued at $350,000 now. So the value of things went up too. It wasn't like it was just money. My parents don't have, or didn't when they passed away, didn't have $350,000. They had a house that had a higher value suddenly that they, spent 30 years paying on. Where's the money? Where's the money in their house? Well, now they can sell their house, and that's where the money is. Guess what? Everything in the country did the same thing. In 1970, that building was worth X amount of dollars. Right now, it's probably worth 10 to 30 times what it was in 1970. That's where the money is. It's all in the value of things that went up. And some things completely lost their value. If you're someone who builds rotary telephones, you're fucked right now. If you're someone who manufactures telephone booths, guess what? That money's gone. That money is gone. So, pet rocks. Yeah, if you are the inventor of the pet rock, well, and you have a big warehouse full of pet rocks, guess what? You don't have that. That's no longer money. That's not gold in that there warehouse. So I find these kinds of arguments humorous in some ways, but also very, very myopic and selfish. This is a selfish little prick saying, "Oh, I should be able to just take someone else's shit." These are the people that want to take someone else's shit. So there you go. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me on the Morning Night Live. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back tomorrow. Probably we'll do more videos tomorrow because that's what I'm going to do on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I hope you had a fun time here. I certainly did. And if you would do me a favor and have a wonderful fucking day, I'd be just as happy as, well, I'd be much happier than that asshole. So anyway, y'all have a great day. Gotta go. My name's PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.